Alright, one of the most important factors to achieving great photos is planning, and astrophotography requires a few elements to work together to get the best results. These include the moon phase, core visibility, light pollution, scouting, and weather. First up is the moon phase, and this one is critical in having a dark enough sky for the stars to appear. When there is a full moon, the sky will be bright, so few stars will be visible. If there is no moon present in the sky, you'll be able to see the maximum amount of stars when you're in a dark area. So ideally you want to plan to shoot when there is no moon present in the sky. Each month the moon visibility changes from a full moon to a new moon or no moon. The times around a new moon usually wind up being ideal because the moon sets before prime astro shooting times and rises closer to sunrise or after. So you don't necessarily need a new moon, but you need to shoot after the moon sets and before it rises in that window for the darkest skies, and this is usually best around the new moon. Also, having a partial moon behind you during astro shots is sometimes good to light up your foreground, but again, it's going to drown out the stars and make them less visible. You can check the moon phase online or using an app like PhotoPills or the Photographer's Ephemeris. More on that in a few. Alright, next up is core visibility, and this is going to be another factor to consider when you're planning your shoots for the Milky Way. Core visibility means the most prominent part of the Milky Way galaxy is visible. This will vary depending on the time of the year and your location in the world. This is because the Earth's rotating and changing position throughout the year, and the core will be visible over the horizon at varying times and up during the day in some months, making it not shootable. The visibility in the northern hemisphere, specifically in the US, is from March through September, and best in the summer months where the core is visible earlier in the evening and you don't need to stay up until 3 a.m. to start shooting. You can check the visibility also online or in an app like PhotoPills, which we'll go over in a few. Alright, next up is light pollution, and this is also something that we need to take into account. In major cities, the lights are so strong outside that it drowns out the stars' visibility in the sky. So it's always best to seek out a dark sky area to shoot any astro shots because the most stars will be visible. This is not difficult if you are out in the middle of nowhere in a place like the Southwest, but if you are located in a decent sized city, you will likely have to travel a couple hours to get to dark skies. You can use a site like Dark Sky Finder to determine the best location to shoot. There's a colored key showing you varying degrees of light, the darkest gray or black being the darkest skies to shoot at. Next up is scouting. If you are going to a location to shoot at night, it's always best to go and visit during the day beforehand to plan your compositions and get an idea of any potential challenges or dangers. It can be very easy to get lost at night if you're not careful, so it's smart to visit and study the trails and markers during the day as a precaution. I like to get to locations and shoot at blue hour a lot of times for my astro shots to blend the night sky back into the scene and get a cleaner image, since shooting foregrounds at night at high ISOs is going to have more grain and be less sharp. The last thing to consider is the weather. This is the hardest part to plan because the forecast is usually the most accurate, closest to your planned shooting times, and sometimes can be slightly off. Ideally, you'll find clear skies to shoot the stars, but sometimes clouds can add a bit of interest and drama to your Milky Way photos. In fact, some of my favorite Milky Way shots have had really unique clouds in them. Less than 20% cloud coverage is usually ideal for seeing a good portion of the sky still. One scenario that is definitely not ideal for clouds is star trails because the blending of these photos can look strange if they include clouds. My favorite apps for weather are yr.no and Weather Underground. I have smart forecasts set up on Weather Underground to quickly check the cloud coverage and to see if it's going to be ideal for shooting astro.